with that, I'll turn it over to Secretary Buttigieg. This isn't his first time at the podium, as you all know. I think this might be his third time, but it's his first time joining us as a father. So on a personal note, congratulations to you and Chasten on the birth of Gus and Penelope, and and the news last week, which we really thought that was wonderful, great news. And so with that, I'm really happy to introduce you. Here we go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Corrine, and thanks for the chance to address you. We are so thrilled, so excited. When our communications team presents me with a copy, I usually cross out the word excited because I think it's overused, and I often rub out the exclamation points because it's not always my style, but we are excited with an exclamation point about what we're going to be able to deliver. We are so thankful to everybody who's played a role in this, thanks to members of Congress on both sides of the aisle. President Biden's historic bipartisan infrastructure deal will now become the law of the land. And it couldn't come at a more urgent time. I can tell you in the 10 months that I've been in this job, I've traveled the country and seen the state of our infrastructure firsthand. I saw mesh nets hung under bridges to catch pieces of concrete that fall off from time to time, century-old tunnels corroded by seawater that hundreds of thousands of people depend on every day, roads where community members are installing memorials to lives lost in preventable traffic crashes, highways that have cut communities in two. Infrastructure is so elemental to our society that when it's not there to serve us in the right way, all of us are impacted. But when it is, when it's strong, every community, large and small, rural and urban, privileged and marginalized, every community feels the benefits. When combined with the Build Back Better Act, the bipartisan infrastructure deal, which collectively I like to think of them as the big deal, an answer to the New Deal or the Square Deal before that, they're going to create a generation of good union jobs. They're going to make historic investments in equity and in the fight against climate change. They're going to make sure that America can compete and win in the decades ahead. This is the largest investment in roads, bridges, and highways since the creation of the interstate highway system, including the largest investment in our bridges ever, so that we can avoid devastating closures and disruptive collapses like we've seen, including what we saw in Tennessee and Florida and far too many other places. It's also the largest investment in public transit ever, with funding that will expand service to communities of all sizes, including improvements for seniors and for people with disabilities. It's going to replace thousands of outdated buses with clean zero-emission vehicles and aging rail cars with state-of-the-art new ones. It's the largest investment in passenger rail since the creation of Amtrak itself, and transformative impacts in traffic safety will be achieved. And it's going to strengthen our supply chain by improving our ports, our airports, and our freight rail. It's going to dramatically increase funding for major projects. Every year we have our discretionary programs, RAISE and Infra, where we support projects that are vitally important for local economic development and the national supply chain. We're going through the current round of applications for RAISE right now. And for every dollar that we have to give out, there are about 10 in impressive applications coming in. This allows us to grow those programs that we can use in very direct ways to address the issues of our time. I'll give you an example from the Infra round of grants that happened earlier this year. We announced funding for a project in Georgia. It's an inland port to help goods move onward from the port of Savannah. It is to create a new 300-plus mile freight connection between the seaport and the inland port that makes it faster to get the goods out of the port and then sort them so that they can get on the way to shelves. But like I said, for every good project like this, there are many more that are worthy but that we can't support. This helps us to change that.